Series to Fiji and Scotland, and we well remember that epic final in Twickenham last May when Scotland won their first ever cup title. South Africa lead 35-4 in the series, but they last met in London. South Africa lost by the odd point, 27-26. 2 tries right at the death for Scotland. Star-studded South African side, then led once again by Philip Snyman. Great to see Werner Kok back in the ranks alongside Cecil Africa, Kyle Brown, Chris Troy and Sibela Senatla. 3 Player of the Year in that Players of the Year in that South African side. Scotland led by Scott Riddell, and they do include on the bench Dougie Fife, who claimed those 2 tries against South Africa in the London final. Mentioned a star-studded side. Well, I wonder how many of these players would be in your Fantasy 7. There is an opportunity through an upgraded game on the web, rugby7stars.com. That's the web address for you. Pop along there and register, and you too can join in the fun here in Dubai. All the players in the men's squads and the women's squads as well are included, and all their attributes. So play now and win prizes. The referee for this match is Richard Kelly from New Zealand. An experienced referee, and he will need to use all that experience in this clash. Rob Skinstad, how is this one going to go? Will it be a repeat, I wonder, of that dramatic London final?
Oh, well, it was dramatic, wasn't it? It was a wonderful game, and Scotland coming out ahead of South Africa there, but this team, the South African team, I think have rebooted, reset. They'll really want to take a win early on here against Scotland and get their series on track. And I start for them against Uganda, but this is a real test.
It certainly is. It was a confident display by Scotland when they defeated the USA 14-5 earlier on today. And as Bob Skinstad has just alluded, South Africa overwhelmed Uganda 46 points to 0. Scotland, though, in the hunt here for the opening score in the opening 30 seconds of this match, but give away a penalty.
Really good play there from Senatla, showing that he's not just an attack-minded player like Cecil Africa.
And when Cecil Africa is on song, you have to keep a very close eye on him. A desperate tackle there, but saving a certain try.
Brilliant cover defence there, and kudos to Scotland. It was a lovely tackle by Nick McLennan. He went across. Cecil Africa is able to do both. Defensively, very, very good, and on the attack there, McLennan, as the sweeper position, managing to push him into touch. Blitzbokke putting Scotland under early pressure.
Oh, cleanly taken off the line out by Scott Riddell, the Riddler, they call him. Scotland earn themselves a penalty. Well, it's hard to believe, isn't it? Scotland lost to France in the secondary bowl final here in Dubai 12 months ago, but made significant progress during the year under Colin McRae to clinch that Twickenham final, their first ever title in 17 years of trying. Scott Riddell made his debut in San Diego back in 2009. They share the same floor as the Scottish team, and it was interesting, the schedule this morning, it was a strapping schedule. Shoulder, knee, wrist, shoulder again. My goodness me, the physio was busy early on this morning.
Got to keep the athletes going, and that's a lovely line-out win. Outside arm, though. So the not in straight call, and pressure from South Africa. They're high-fiving because they're pleased with their pressure there, and it's not often that you see that come off. A 3-man line-out, it's easy to have a nice little variation. Scotland did a good win on their line and won the penalty, but here's South Africa, the turnover because not in straight, and that's all because of that pressure that the Blitzboks put on. They'll want to get a score here. Africa looming.
Out wide, out of shot is Sibela Senatla, World Rugby Sevens Player of the Year, poised just to the left of your screens.
Crouch. Bind.
Just signed a 3-year tripartite contract with Western Province Rugby and South Africa Rugby. Change of direction from Werner Kok. Branko de Preer Gets in behind the Scottish defence. The ball came off the head of Captain Philip Snyman.
Well, they had a bit of a reprieve there, South Africa. They switched the area of attack. Scotland definitely up to it. They managed to defend that very well, and they've come back for a penalty for unbinding at the scrum. So early binding is perhaps why Scotland did so well to cover the field. Van der Kok, good to have him back in the World 7 Series.
Oh, it certainly is. Another player of the year, and well deserved in 2014. That's a neat little chip. But Scotland, ever alert to the threat. Gavin Lowe it was. Got a tackle coming in from Snyman, the captain. Scotland have numbers on the near side. South Africa do well to drift across field. Lowe. Neat pass to Johnston. Now then the gap opening up for Fraser Lyle, sucking in two South African defenders.
This is really good defence from the Blitzboks. Solid play there. Kyle Brown and Siabela Senatla just combining to push the Scottish players.
Scotland still inside their own 22.
Wonderful pressing defence that they used here. Just look at the time that they robbed Scotland of. And then the drive out there. They tried to take a quick line up, but they had a foot in the field of play.
Branko de Pree looks and finds Chris Dry. Snyman on the loop towards de Pree. Johnson very quickly into midfield. And here he is. All arms and legs, James Johnson, such an influential figure. Oh, lovely work by Fraser Lyle. Has he got the pace? He hasn't. Riddle. Again, it's with Johnson. Back into contact. Good work by Johnson there, looking to release the flyer on the right-hand side. Looked as if it could have been a forward pass. Well, Scotland from one end of the field to the other just can't get that final player, that final pass away.
It was an interesting call from the referee here. I think they're going to talk about a trip. And the referee's assistant there just looking for a number. He doesn't have a number.
The tackle over here on the ground.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going penalty. Whereabouts is the penalty? Thank you. Yeah, I don't have
sure.
I agree. I don't have the guy's number.
Well, then you could look. Can you look?
No, I can't.
Scott Riddle.
Tackling player on the ground.
Tackling the player on the ground. Okay. Well, he was still, that's right, he was still, I think Van der Kok there, look at that, he makes the first tackle and then he goes for the second one. I'm actually not sure that that's penalisable. I understand you're allowed not to tackle the player in the air, but I don't think you're not allowed to tackle the player on the ground. So I'll have a look into that and report back.
So Johnson spreads it out to Fleming. Fleming for the corner. That's better from Scotland. .80 tries now then for James Fleming.
Well, it's a lovely start from Scotland. They've been really composed. Managed to rattle South Africa a little bit when they've had the ball. And yes, Fleming, look at that. He just puts down the accelerator. He knows he's got to get around Siabela Senatla. There's an extra man. And he scores the try. Lovely for him to cross. 80 tries. Outstanding work from Fleming.
Never a better time to score than on the stroke of half-time, as Gavin Lowe pushes the conversion wide of the far upright. Scotland defending for the greater part of the opening 7 minutes, but they go in at the break with a 5-point advantage.
wat ons maak. Like hoe ons met blackjack, maar ons hou ons balle. Maar dit is van die begin gesê, ons is van die is in die game. Ons kom skoor en wat is die ander ding? Penalties. Dis 'n penalty boys. Dis het ons die laaste 5 minute gedoen. Ons al die bal gee, ons het 3 penalties afgestaan. Ons kan dit nie onsself doen nie, boys. Jy kan dit nie onsself verloor nie. Jy defend goed, maar jy gaan op 'n stadium met defense uit hardloop. Maar alright, ons moet react as 'n penalty. Ons moet net so wag hulle gaan die ding uitskop as jy dink dit gaan gebeur. React baie stadig, boys. 7 minute vir jou lewe. Keep on fighting, kan die referee fluitjie blaas, dan kan jy relax wanneer dit 'n scrum is. Want hulle staan in 'n penalty kan hulle quick gaan vat en afkom. So ons gaan nou 'n bietjie moet wakker bly. Knap in 7 minute, boys. Ons gaan 'n bietjie fire ons gaan die moed bring. Ons hou net ons bal vas. Dis al wat ons moet doen. Luister gou. Hulle het 3 ouens die luister as hulle hier so.
More urgency, certainly Bob Skinstad in the team talk there at half-time from South African coach Neil Powell than I've heard in many tournaments.
Yeah, exactly. And just by way of translating a little bit of the Afrikaans, he's talking about the urgency and saying that, you know, lineouts and penalties and kickoffs can be taken quickly, so you cannot relax at any stage. And that's one of the great messages of Sevens, is you've got to be switched on for every second that the ball is in play. And South Africa will want to turn this around and turn it into a victory in the second half of this match. Scotland showing tremendous belief and a lovely skill level as well. When they've had the ball, they've looked dangerous. South Africa, I think, coughed up a few chances. They had possession twice with an opportunity to head towards the line, and one was a knock-on and one was just good Scottish defence.
Scotland get a restart with a 5-point lead. South Africa won just the one tournament last year. That was their home tournament in Cape Town. Still finished runners-up to Fiji in the World Rugby Sevens Series. Bit of back chat there, and referee Kelly will have none of that from Fraser Lyle, and he dispatches him to the sin bin for 2 minutes. How costly might that prove to be?
Well, South Africa should want to get this underway as quick as possible here and use that advantage.
Replacement Justin Geduld is on for South Africa. Leaves it for Werner Kok. There is Geduld with the interesting hairstyle. Just dry, far more conventional. Kok waits, spins it out to Snyman, the captain. Into midfield, South Africa have men over, and it's the danger man himself, the flyer, Seabelo Senatla. You just can't stop this man. Once he eyes the try line, 160 tries, that's a remarkable achievement.
Well, with pace like that, we can see why. Look at the ball from Kyle Brown. It's held on to for a while, and when he sees the gap, he accelerates, almost unstoppable. When he's got the ball, he's just got so much extra pace. They've scored very quickly there. They'll want to get another try on while they've got the man advantage.
Conversion is good, 160 tries. That converts to 800 points for Seabelo Senatla, and the conversion has given the Blitzbokke the lead over Scotland, 7-5, 2 minutes into the second half. Scotland have it all to do here. There is belief in the side, as has been alluded to by Bob Skinstad. That's a big hit coming in from Werner Kok. Good pressure again by Snyman this time, and it's a stolen possession as well. Great work by the captain. That's the Scottish try line in the background. Lost forward though.
Well, the ball on the ground edge, South Africa just not having enough control.
Good work there by Kok initially, then by Snyman.
Lovely in-your-face defence from the Blitzboks. They'll really want to drive home this advantage. If they can get a converted try here, it means that even in defence they can push Scotland into having to get 2 scores at a minimum. That'll be running through their minds, and this rotational policy, I think, has really upped the speed of the games. You know, there's really few players who are sitting there absolutely out on their feet, because they're able to come off when they can feel they've been pushed to the limit, and the coaches are rotating the players on and off. It's outstanding viewing for the many thousands of people who've joined us at the stadium and around the world.
Very rarely have we seen it utilised on the opening day of competition. It's usually used by coaches on the second day when players become tired. But yeah, they're getting used to the idea of rolling subs. Senatla showing that he's not just a one-trick pony. Nayathavu, former soldier. Oh, that could have spelled danger for Scotland. Stolen illegally. Quickly back on the defensive.
Scotland very aware that they want to get onto the attack quickly. The referee just quite rightly saying that they've taken the kick from off the mark, so we'll see a line out employed here by Scotland.
A little time to draw breath. Quacker Smith, not a competitive player he is, very physical player. Oscar Speckman, where's 8? It's Cecil Africa who's gone off. Scotland need a score.
It's a lovely tackle there from Justin Cadilt.
And an even better one there from Scott Riddell on Quacker Smith. Good intelligent play by Khadul, giving chase to Speckman. Fresh legs, fresh impetus. Try time. Great score, and what a timely substitution from Neil Powell.
Lovely bit of timing as well from the Blitzboks, because Speckman just dropped into the pocket, and as Khadil put that ball onto the foot, he was going at 100 miles an hour. He outstripped the defense. The control looked like he might have overcooked it, but his speed saved him, and scoring on the right-hand side of the uprights. He's come close enough for Khadil to convert this.
Speckman scored 2 tries in the London final against Scotland, but they weren't enough. Khadul to extend South Africa's lead. That makes it 2 scores, the difference. South Africa 14, Scotland 5.
Very competitive pool this. The USA turned over Uganda after a first half deficit in the last match and ran out comfortable winners after that. A big match between South Africa and the USA still to come. Scotland will want to get closer and even push South Africa here. That's a good deep kickoff from South Africa. Very, very clever. Great work from Justin Khadil.
A member of the South African squad that secured the bronze medal in Rio de Janeiro, the Olympics. Justin Khadul.
And Dylan Sage comes on, replaces his skipper, Philip Snyman. 1 minute 21 on the clock. Scotland going to attack from deep.
Sage wearing 3 on his back, and that shirt carries a huge responsibility. Frankie Horn worn it with grace so many seasons. Scotland, the clock is against them. And they're in the wrong quarter of the field. Into the final minute. And this is exactly how it was in London. 2 quick tries for Dougie Fife that clinched it. And on that remarkable day for Scottish Sounds. Can they repeat that performance? I wonder. They're going to have a go. And away comes Jamie Farndale, bundled into touch though.
Well, that's a brilliant bit of defence from Roscoe Speckman. Textbook tackle. He's gone low, around the waist, hard, and the youngsters watching the game, that's how you drive the man out into touch.
Managed to tie his arms in as well.
Fantastic piece of play.
Scotland slow into the line out. Geduld. Again, it's the flyer. Oh, the player of the year. And this is why he was nominated and awarded the player of the year award. Sibelo Senatla. Fantastic score again. He just keeps on scoring.
And this is the little shift that I was talking about. Just the step in from the right. He doesn't have to do a massive sidestep because he knows he only needs a half a metre or so to get away from the opposition. The acceleration is outstanding. And from top speed, he slows down all the way to the try line to score the try. Brilliant.
That just about seals it then for South Africa. A job well done, having overwhelmed Uganda first time out this morning. They've downed the colours of Scotland by 21 points to 5.